Hello everyone, this is Anthony Stockwell. I'm a Turfgrass lecturer, teacher, and as part of this video I'm going to go through quite slowly different turfgrass seeds and how you identify them. I'm going to go through four main species. Those four species are brown top bent, smooth stalked meadowgrass, perennial ryegrass, and lastly fine fescue. Hope you really enjoy the video. Thank you. On this image here we have four different groups of the grasses that we just mentioned. I think seeing them overall from this perspective enables you to see the differences between the seeds. We'll just zoom in here on the brown top bent. As you can see, it's the main thing is that you can see here is it's a much smaller seed. It's absolutely tiny compared to the other seeds. There's a lot more seeds of that species there than the other. I'm just going to go up the next biggest here is the smooth stalk meadowgrass seed. Again, it's very small but is considerably bigger than the brown top bent. Next we'll go on to the fescue seed. I mean, roughly it's about the same size as the perennial ryegrass, which is just to the left of the fescue seed here, but you can see it's got an awn, a tail, a tip to it. And then lastly, we're just looking at the perennial ryegrass seed here at the moment, and if you compare the size to the bent grass just above it, you can see quite a big difference in size between the grasses. And just to give it some scale, some context here, this is an image taken from a book, really good book, Fundamentals of Turfgrass Management by Nick Christians. You can see there's two bent grasses there that are very small, and this scale, we're about to look at some other images in a moment which show other grass species, and we're currently looking at the smallest. So it is quite interesting to see that the bent is very, very small. And we've just gone up to our second image, which is again very small grass species here, the Kentucky bluegrass in the middle, ever so slightly bigger than Poa annua, but the Kentucky bluegrass is what we call the smooth stalk meadowgrass over here in the UK. Kentucky bluegrass is the American name, the scientific name, Poa pratensis, that's what we're looking at. Then the next image, this is the final image we're going to be looking at with the scale on the right hand side. These are the largest seeds that we deal with, perennial ryegrass, fine fescue. Obviously on the scale you can see it's considerably larger than the other seeds we've looked at, but some really good images here, very sharp detail. We're going to have a look at some other images in a moment as well and talk through some of the characteristics of each seed. So we're now going to look at some macro images of these different grasses. First of all, we're going to look at Agrostis capillaris, brown top bent. Should be written in italics there, but I couldn't quite manage or work out how to write the scientific name in italics. But the main point about this seed is it's absolutely tiny. Almost looks like sawdust, as some people say. The shape is round in cross section, almost like a tear shape as it tapers towards one end. One thing that's quite interesting about the seed is that it's quite sticky. It'll stick to your finger. If you put your finger down on it, the seed will stick to you. It's very expensive per gram, more expensive than other seeds. You don't need to put much of the seed down in terms of rates for seed, in terms of grams, because there's a lot of seed within the weight. So when you're sowing this seed, you don't need to put much of it down. You need to put it fairly close to the surface, but you want direct contact with the soil, otherwise it could quite easily blow away. So it's just something to be mindful of when you are sowing this seed. So the next seed we're looking at on the screen now is Poa pratensis, or the common name that we use in the UK is smooth stalked meadowgrass. The seed is small but bigger than bent. It's triangular in cross section, and if you roll it between your finger and thumb, you can actually feel that each side of the seed has a different side, so it's not rounded. One thing that's particularly interesting about this seed is that it's very slow to germinate and establish compared to the other seeds. Germination can be 3 weeks, 21 days for this seed, so it is quite a bit slower than the others. The seed we're looking at now is Lolium perenne. The common name for that is perennial ryegrass. One of the key features of this seed is that it has a blunt end. It's not very sharp at all. In terms of shape, it's quite stubby, quite broad, like almost a little bit thick compared to the others. I mean, some people have said to me it almost looks like a tine from a hollow core, or just kind of almost looks quite straight. That it has this central channel in the middle of it, and it almost resembles a tine that you'd find on a coring machine. It's the most common seed that you'd find certainly in the south of England, used extensively on golf tees, golf fairways, football pitches, rugby, horse racing. Any area that needs good wear tolerance, you'll find this seed. It's typically used on gardens as well. Germination, pretty quick. You're looking at anything 5 days to 2 weeks under good normal conditions with good moisture and ambient temperatures. The last seed we're going to have a look at here is creeping red fescue, and the scientific name for that is Festuca rubra rubra. This seed is thin, it's long, it's got at the end of it, the most notable feature is the awn. The awn is spelled AWN, and that comes out of the thinner end, and it almost looks like a hair. It almost looks like a little spike, like almost like a needle from the seed, and that's quite similar to the grass species itself, actually, because the fescue grasses are very long, very thin, needle-like. So there is resemblance between the seed and the grass species. In terms of germination, can be a little bit longer than some of the other grasses. You're typically looking at about 2 weeks or sometimes longer for germination. It does require warmer temperatures to germinate, especially compared to ryegrass seed. You won't have much success early in spring, but you may need to wait until at least May or June to get the full benefits and full success from the seed that you've put down. The last image we're having a look at now indicates the number of seeds per gram, and they get more, the number gets higher on the size of the seed. So perennial ryegrass was 600, fescue 1000 per gram, Perbratensis 3000, Phlegm pretens at the very bottom there 4000, and lastly the smallest seed with 15,000 seeds per gram is the bentgrass Agrostis capillaris, and this is an extract taken from Natural Turf for Sport and Amenity by Adams and Gibbs. Really good book, I'd recommend that one as well. But lastly, just want to thank everyone for watching. Also, a big thank you to everyone at Hadlow College for providing the support with the video, and also to Baron Brugg for providing the seed samples. Thank you very much.